Hi, how's it going? So, I want to share with you just an inspired thought around how we categorize things in our mind and ultimately how that categorization does limit us. What I'm finding or bridging now in my own mind is the fact that we call things spiritual. That, oh no, this is the physical, this is the material, this is the spiritual. And something I've been sensing, feeling, getting into for a while is oneness and the fact that there is no separation. How do we embody oneness? How do we live oneness? And it ultimately comes through recognition, realization, embodiment that we are all that is. We are all that we see, and there is no separation. Now, I'm saying this because I came across it today, and I know that I've used this expression before, like, we don't need the airy-fairy woo-woo bullshit stuff around spirituality. As a yoga guide or as a spiritual teacher, I don't need to talk like this, and I don't need to burn incense all the time. That form, so like conditions and physical circumstances have nothing, as in there's no right or wrong form when it comes to existence, when it comes to anything. So the form of spirituality doesn't mean like I have to sit and meditate. That's not necessarily spiritual. Yoga, religion, things that we in our categorized mind might put in the spiritual bracket, those things have become convoluted and distorted in form and intention. So we're just mindlessly adopting all of these quote-unquote spiritual practices without the clarity for embodiment of the truth of who you are. And all of this stuff basically comes down to feeling good and defining your own reality for yourself, of getting to know who you are so that you can clear the stuff that you don't like and embody and pull in or be that which you already are, to be and manifest that which already is. Everything already is. There is no separation. And I guess I'm expressing because, again, I say that someone's mentioned, I'm not into all the woo-woo spiritual stuff, but mindfulness and mental focus of yoga is fantastic. And something kind of hit me, like, why is it that the spiritual stuff is woo-woo, but the physical is the hard, cold fact? Like being spiritual and talking about metaphysics and talking about beyondness and talking about absolute, or talking about source or universe or cosmic, that's woo-woo. And yet talking about how shitty the economy is, or talking about how fucked up our world is because there's war and famine, that's okay. That's normal. That's acceptable. So what I'm feeling into is I want to flip that. I want to create a reality where talking about violence and war and poverty is woo-woo. Like, that is BS. That is bullshit. I'm tired of talking about that stuff because I do not want it to exist. In my heart of hearts, everyone gets fed. Everybody has what they need. Everyone is empowered. And violence has been completely dissolved because we recognize it is not real. Unless we're engaging with that energy, it doesn't have to be real. And talking about it like it's the real hard fact makes it more real for more people. So I just wanted to express that, a little bit of a vocal, I guess, rant. But also, I'm really bridging. I've been recently hugely inspired and bridging into doing more talks and basically empowering. Often I need a reflection. I need to find someone else saying certain things to permission my own self to be like, see, you get that. And I do get that. And I do connect to my higher self. And I do, the thing is as well, when there's no separation, there's a whole bunch of like spiritual woo-woo bullshit that just doesn't pertain. It just doesn't, it does not align. Like, it literally doesn't matter whether you go out drinking and partying and taking ecstasy at the weekend and you spend your weekends like doing yoga and meditation. The person partying and doing drugs could be more aligned, could be more in their essence than the person meditating and doing yoga. It's such an interesting unraveling of one's own self, of one's own mind, because you begin to realize that form has nothing to do with it. Form is just a representation of what we're creating, what we have created up to this point. And it's fine. But the more of us who choose consciously, I'm going to be a happy force, I'm going to be a love force, I'm going to be a joy force, I'm going to be a radiance force, I'm going to be an unconditional force. The more of us who choose higher vibration frequency to resonate at, the more of us who consciously miraculously understand and see through the veils and understand what this work is all about, the more of us that we will be creating basically a paradise. We'll be creating tribes that are literally in the flow, or in a bliss state, or in a bliss consciousness state. It's just that breaking down the stigmas and breaking down the language that we choose to use around certain practices, I think, needs to happen. You know, we don't need, why does peaceful practice need to be woo-woo? Why does enlightened practice need to be woo-woo stuff, woo-woo bullshit? Why can't war and famine and military action, why can't we call that woo-woo? Because that is woo-woo for people. That is literal fucking bullshit woo-woo for people who choose to engage in that practice. And it's not pretty. It's not like, I don't think people typically enjoy killing each other and going to war. I think people come back traumatized from that experience and they don't even have a fucking clue how to unravel it in their own mind. And this practice, the embodiment of the essence of who you are, forgives everything. And forgiveness is the function. Forgiveness is our gateway to a truthful reality, and a peaceful one at that. Is that if we've engaged in misconduct and we can feel it and we're holding guilt around our past action, we have to be able to forgive ourselves. It doesn't matter whether the person you killed is forgiving you, because they probably are, because they're closer to spirit or in spirit, or like whatever. It has nothing to do with separation. Forgiveness, evolution, enlightenment, beingness, truth, unconditional love is in essence, and it's inside of us. It's within every single one of us in a place. Basically, it just feels peaceful. It feels allowing. It feels like an energy that is super duper powerful, that just lets it all be. Lets it all be what it is. And it sees the beauty in everything. And the more it sees the beauty in everything, the more beauty it sees. It's like an ever-blooming flower. It's like a never-ending existence. That's eternity. That's infinity. That's forever. We are the forever. But what do you want to do in this forever? You want to put stuff down? Or do you want to be more of who you are? Do you want to be that which you kind of feel inside? Like, oh, I could be that, or I could do that. Or I get what that person's saying. That feels good to me. We all have an inner call. It's just a matter of connecting to it and allowing ourselves to be. And we have to continue to permission each other to be that. And I know, I get it. It can be scary. Why? Because we hold fear. Because we buy into an illusion that everything is separate. So that becomes the foundation for fear. If everything is separate, I'm afraid because I'm alone. But the aloneness is an illusion too. And the separation is most definitely an illusion. So as we can embody and become the oneness, then we dissolve the fear and we become a purely loving presence or a purely unconditional presence. I'm not talking about love as in like, woohoo, love, love, love all the time. I'm just talking about unconditional. It's like a neutral presence. It's like, you know, the almighty force that of all that is not a judgmental presence at all. It's just, it just is, and it's an allowing. It says you can be this or you can be that, or you can be this or you can be that, or you can be this or you can be that. And it's literally our choice. So I can choose to be happy. I can choose to be abundant. I can choose anything, any condition, any state. But I'm implementing it. I'm practicing it in every moment. There's no separation. So it's not like one person I'm nice to and the next person I'm not. Is that every person I'm open to, every person I'm aware of, I'm engaged with, because they're me. What are they representing? What can I learn from them? You know, just today I had a really good chat with one of the ladies on a program at one of the places that I teach at, and you know, she's like, I think I get a vibe from her like mega bucks, mega wealthy, and that intrigues me. What's the vibe? How does it feel? How does it feel to just be that abundantly wealthy? It feels good. It feels really like secure. Really like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I can have that. I can do that. No problem. No shame. And that's something I find as well when we don't have, when we're not holding lack of worth, when we're not holding I'm not enough quality, we are enough. And oftentimes people who are enough, they don't have shame. They're not ashamed. They're not ashamed of who they are. They're not ashamed of what they say. They're not ashamed of being loud. They're not ashamed of being themselves. So you're not ashamed. You're worthy, and you create an abundant life. You create a life where you can travel and do whatever you want. Now, whether or not they're in a pure bliss state all the time, I don't know. I still practice that. It's still a permission. It's like you're still egging your own, like for me in my head, I'm still egging myself on to remind myself that I'm allowed. You know, even when so-and-so is being grumpy, I'm allowed to be happy. Even when that person is complaining about this, that, or the other, I can be happy. I can choose bliss. I can choose happiness. I can, this right now, choose passion. I am allowed to just be who I am, you know, and this is coming from a person who ran away for a long time. A person who is running away from who they really were, who they really are, to try to fit in. To try to be what I thought everybody else wanted to be, or try to be what I thought my mom wanted me to be, you know? And the more I break free from that, the more I permission myself to be who I am, I can feel that I'm of service, but I'm happier. So none of that stuff matters. I'm happier in myself. Loads of painful limiting conditions I used to buy into, they're no longer in existence for my reality, so I feel happier and I feel free. And I know what I've created in my own life is a foundation for a continual evolution. That with a conscious awareness of how this reality works, how this dimension, you could say, how it works from my own perspective, I can do anything and change anything as and when. So it's really interesting to be here, to be sharing these insights. And it's all love. It's all coming from love. All of this is just all born out of a powerful intention to end suffering. A powerful intention. No one deserves to be hungry. No one deserves to not have enough. No one deserves, you know, we all deserve pure love, abundance, joy, expression. And I can't share that with people unless I'm practicing that And that's what vibes, that's what we pick up on. That's why we all meet each other. It's because we're looking for ourselves. And when we find happy expressions of self, when we find peaceful expressions of self, we want some. I want some of that. So you're it. Whatever it is you see yourself as, whatever you feel yourself to be, you're it already. And you're already everything you could ever imagine. You're already everything you could ever want. But we need to continue to support each other on this expansive journey. We need to continue to hold each other accountable for the language we're using and for categorizing certain things and certain people as being a certain way. Oh, you're spiritual. That's bullshit. I don't want to listen to it. And there's no separation. If you deny the spiritual, you're denying yourself. And it's the exact same thing for spiritual people who want to deny the physical. Oh, I'm just going to transcend my body. You're denying yourself. The body is where we live. The body is the leading edge. The body is the full manifestation extension of my spirit essence on this timeline, in this plane, on this earth. So if I am not feeling well, there's something further back, which goes back into mind, emotion, and spirit. It's all, this is just the end. Everything we experience in the physical is the end result of inner. And I think that's the stuff that can be quite challenging to accept. I'm everything I create. So if there's creation that I don't like, on a pride level, sometimes, or on a vulnerability level, it's like we don't want to face that. No, that's so-and-so's fault. That's why. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's nothing to do with me, except I'm the one feeling bad. And this is where acceptance is really powerful, because if there's stuff that I don't like, accept it. Okay, I've created something that I don't like, and now I'm going to choose to create something different. We really only have that amount of power when we take responsibility for everything we're experiencing. It's not about the other people. It's not really about the circumstances. It's not about the conditions that are presenting themselves to us. It's not about that. Those are symptoms. Those are just effects. The cause is always in us. Why? Why is that person doing that to you? Because you're putting them there. And people, places, things, they push our buttons. They trigger us emotionally. They make us feel things. They make us remember things. They make us sense things, because we're all on an expansive journey of self, of learning who we are, of being who we are, of being the source point, of being all that is, of being the totality of creation. And then time ends, and then all of this chaos ends. And then what? And then what? There's infinite creative power. Eternity means nothing ever ends. So there's no rush. There's nowhere we're meant to get to. We're creating time. We are creating time. So if we don't like what it's doing to us, turn it off. Focus on presence. Focus on noticing the reality that surrounds you. Focus on noticing that. It's only when we can slow down the conditioned mind. And again, the conditioned mind is the mind that's learning from everything outside. So all of us born here are conditioned to the world we've all created. Which is why pointing fingers and blaming one another ain't gonna work. Because we're all responsible. But I know what feels best for me is self-responsibility. And then being able to express. Being able to express how I feel in any given moment. and let it be true in that moment to whoever needs to hear it, to whoever is listening, and basically just continue that. Because it feels good, and I'm happy. And I wasn't always happy. And I'm right now, just looking out at a beautiful view in this beautiful home I call Devon, England. And I just know there's so much happening. So much. Half of us aren't really going to know what's hit us. And the other half at some point are just going to be grateful that all that spiritual woo-woo stuff is actually starting to make sense. Oh, it's a beautiful day, and I'm dog sitting overnight. It's New Year's Eve. 2016 begins tomorrow, which that's a collective agreement. We've all decided it. And Happy New Year. And I'll see if I do a vlog tomorrow, but thank you for listening. I have, at present, I think 160 subscribers. I think there's about a handful of you who listen to all the vlogs, so thank you for listening over the last few years. I'm so appreciative that what comes through me is of service to other people, even in whatever capacity. It's not up to me to choose that, but I appreciate it as a reflection of my own expansion and also my own empowerment, because doing this thing was really, really scary a couple years ago when I started. And I was scared of looking at myself, and I was scared of speaking honestly. And I've just done a 20-minute vlog where I feel really connected and really able to express on a deeper level, and I don't feel like I'm having to pinch my words or mind my mouth, but just being honest. That's how I'm feeling. That's where I'm at right here, right now, today, December 31st, 2015. And we'll just have to wait and see, right? We'll have to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. That's what I'm going to do, and I hope you do the same. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Take care.
All to love. All to love.